tragedy, and its name was heartbreak. What the first year's like. So was the practice for theater, sitting around me in your skill master beta. Where are you on the silver screen? Where are you on the silver screen? So was the practice for theater, sitting around me in your skill master beta. Where are you on the silver screen? Where are you on the silver screen? Just keep working on these headshots. Sure, I'm not the last to draw up that time. Sex was good but became routine. The sex was good but became routine. My friends are your friends, whatever do you mean? And that's how it was, that's how the second year would seem. Song was a practice for theater, sing around, make the skill master better. Where are you on the silver screens? Where are you on the silver screens? Song was a practice for theater, sing around, make the skill master better. Where are you on the silver screens? Where are you on the silver screens? Connect the dots of her beauty marks. That's how it would be by the third year. Her lips were perfect to mine, but hearts beat out over time. That's how it all came to an end. And on top of it all, my friends are falling apart. We're trying to reconnect. We're standing side by side. We're picking up shattered pieces next to all of the parts of our broken hearts. We don't know where to start. Seen depressing coffee stains on the old script. It's time to write something fresh. I said cut, I know it changed me, I'm sure it changed you. I know it changed me, I'm sure it changed you.
Are you ready, Long Island? It's time for Ty and the Music Man. And here they are, Ty and the Music Man.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another evening of Ty and the Music Man. We have an amazing, amazing guest. But first, let me say hello and good evening, Mr. Norman, a.k.a.
You almost forgot
the
about
Music
me
Man.
again. You almost forgot about me. Boy, am I glad we have a relationship manager on here tonight.
Well,
Really?
she can help manage you.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, there you go. You got your moment of fame.
There you go.
There you go. So we have an amazing guest this evening. So all of you people out there that want to get those questions answered, if you're having a situation with your relationship, whether you're married or perhaps it's a partnership with a business or maybe inter-office relation. Well, no, we can't do that anymore.
You already did it.
So
I
did it.
You already said it.
The cat's out of the bag. But we have the amazing Aviva Chansky Gutman. And she is in the house tonight.
Easy for you to say.
Yes. And she is in the house tonight. And she's a certified Imago relationship therapist. So we're going to learn what that is because that's something that I never heard of before, but I was just very intrigued by it because I thought, a therapist is a therapist. You come in, you duke it out, and he or she says, oh, stop. But I'm very interested. So good evening. Welcome.
Good
Thank you for
evening.
having
Good
me.
evening. Nice
You're
to see
welcome.
you again.
Nice to be here.
So if you could just bring the mic a little bit closer to you.
Yes, I'm having trouble hearing both of you as well.
Yeah, so if we could just fix the volume, please. But if anyone does want to call in this evening with any of your questions, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube or what is that other one? Oh, for goodness sake, Periscope and all the other guys, Streamer and everything, you can put your questions in either in the chat rooms or you can call in at 888-583-9930, extension 100. That is 888-583-9930, extension 100. So, Aviva,
Yes. Can you hear me now?
I can hear
We
you.
can hear you now.
Okay, great.
So tell me, what is Amigo relationship therapy?
Well, it's pronounced imago.
Imago. Sorry.
Good thing you asked
That's okay.
There
earlier.
you go. I did. I know. I asked earlier, but I'm a little stenod. So
Sure. Imago relationship therapy is a dialogical therapy for couples or people in close partnership or even for siblings, parents, and children. There are lots of ways you can use the modality. It is a theory of therapy designed by, and I'll just give a little history. Is this to show the camera?
Yes, so
Getting the
there's
Love You
the camera
Want was
there.
written
There's the
by
camera
Harville
there.
Hendricks and his wife Helen LaKelly Hunt. And this is the Bible of Imago Therapy. There are other books as well this is about couples. There's one about individuals and one about receiving love. And you can call in or they can be posted later on your website, the different books.
Absolutely.
So do you have a book yet, or you're in the midst of writing one?
Not at this time.
Not at this time, but she will be.
Eventually, I'm sure, but thank you.
Yes.
But imago, the word imago means image in Latin, and the reason it's called imago relationship therapy is because it goes back to our childhood where we had the template of what love means from our caregivers. When we were young, we were dependent on caregivers who hopefully took care of most of our needs for food, clothing, shelter, changing us, feeding us. Anything we needed, we could not really ask for because when we were first starting off, we were infants. As we got a little bigger, we were still children dependent on them emotionally and physically. So what happened was we developed an image through our experience of love from caregivers that we were dependent on of what love looks like. So imago is image in Latin. So we call it imago relationship therapy because most of our intimate relationships in adulthood are based on the template we developed of what love looks like, our imago of love.
Let me interrupt for a second.
Sure.
Does love have a look or does love have a feeling?
Or an appeal.
Well, what happens is in our subconscious as we are developing, we make an image that's ours alone, a particular image of what love looks like. And the theory is that in adult partnerships, when we go in, especially into romantic partnerships, we tend to pick people that are in some way replicating the imago of what our caregivers looked like. And that can be both good and bad and anything in between. So many times when you're in a partnership, you recognize over time, not initially, we're blinded to seeing that in the beginning because of the romantic phase, but over time when we have conflict with a close partner, the things that happened as a child to us in terms of our caregivers, those feelings come back again. We recognize with frustration with a caregiver that we were children frustrated with the same feeling. You know, you've heard the expression, you've married your mother, you married your father. Freud had something to that, but it's not always a terrible thing. It's just that all we knew before we had the ability to take care of ourselves was what we were given by other people.
I
But
know,
don't-
like the biggest thing that people usually say when they're in that heated moment and they're arguing, they're like, "Oh, you're just like your mother," or "You're just like your father," and that
Well,
happens.
Actually, what they're saying sometimes is that what they're upset about in their partner is something evoked in them from their caregiver that frustrated them when they were younger. So it goes both ways. So imago dialogical therapy is about having couples learn how to have a conversation that involves having more attunement to their partner's needs, what their wounds were as a child, plus our own wounds that are being evoked by our partner's behavior. And we usually pick the perfect partner to help evoke these frustrations when we have the power struggle in the relationship.
Now, I was married
Mm-hmm.
and I got divorced and then I remarried. And I've been married now 18 years. And both my wives are nothing. I went the opposite way of what my mom more or less was like. Nothing like that at all whatsoever.
Both
Is
of
there-
them were not like her? are you
not
saying?
like her at all.
How about looks?
not like her at all.
Okay.
But were there qualities in both marriages that when you have frustrations or conflict that remind you of frustrations you had when you were younger from a caregiver? It doesn't have to be your mother in particular. It could be somebody who frustrated you in the same way. The feelings you get usually are similar to what you may have had. It's hard to remember sometimes, but through Imago dialogue process, we teach partners to retrieve the things that happened to them when they were younger that are being evoked in the current relationship.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be you're marrying your mother per se. You could be marrying your dad or your uncle or your grandparents, whoever basically raised
A
you. Or
composite of the qualities that.
Well, your radio show co-host was whatever.
The composite of the qualities of your caregivers that were most impressionable to you or that you picked up on as the most impressionable, because you will have a sibling that had the same parents and their imago may be totally different. It's what you personally developed as your template for what love looks like and how you play that out in life. The reason we have adult relationships have conflict for us is that that's opportunity for growth. Imago sees relationship conflict as an opportunity for healing and growth. We don't view relationships as pathological when they have problems. We view that as a signal that they need some help. So that's what we work on, and we use techniques called mirroring, validation, and empathy to have that happen.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I insist. No, please, dear,
You say,
go
is this
right
a good
ahead.
time?
Go on. It's
What I
your
can do
moment.
for both of you is help you see through an exercise.
There's nothing that can help the two of us.
I know, but we can pretend.
We can pretend.
See how he is.
Yes, but what I would do if you were both in a room for therapy is to try to help you have like commitments to not escalate during the conversation, because that's one thing we teach is having partners make a commitment during conversation work, during the dialogue process, to contain reactivity, to have no shame, blame, or complaining. It's a nice little rhyme, no shaming, blaming, or complaining. And then you teach them, when they're not reactive, to have a more effective communication between them. And I can show you tonight through an appreciation dialogue how that's done.
I would
Cool.
I would love for him to appreciate me.
Yes, I know. You could tell the audience who's not aware of your past history that you did have a little conflict last week, apparently.
No, they know.
Oh, we do this every week.
Oh, okay. I mean, I wasn't aware
This
of
is
last
not
week's
just,
show.
it's part of the game.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Well, is it?
Isn't it?
Aren't
Isn't it, dear?
you're always playing games with my emotions.
Oh, please, you don't
So
have
did you
any
have a particular
emotions.
question you wanted me to answer for you? Or I can just show you what an appreciation dialogue looks like to let the audience see what that looks like.
I would like to see what appreciation dialogue looks like. So
Okay,
I'd
so
like an
what I'm
example.
going to do with both of you is talk you and walk you through an appreciation dialogue sample so that the audience can understand what gets done first in an Imago session is usually first you get some history in an initial session of what the issues are, why they're there together. But then you try to have them do an appreciation dialogue just to show them what the qualities of the mirroring experience is. And mirroring is a very important part of any conversation because
What does that mean?
Mirroring
is
means
that?
that when a person speaks, you say exactly what you heard them say to you. You mirror it back like a mirror.
Okay.
And the reason that's important is because it shows attentive, attuned listening to what the person's saying. And in our culture, people are not listening that way. They are listening to jump in and take their turn, to argue, to have the one-upmanship of the next thing they're going to say. So mirroring is a attuned, active listening process for the listener. And we are not used to listening being an active process. We think listening is just waiting. So the reason it's so important is that when you are mirrored correctly and you take turns making sure that the person got it right, you feel that you were completely heard. Because if the person can say back to you that they got exactly what you were saying, then you know you were heard. And there is something that goes on emotionally, physically, that makes you feel, oh, they saw me. And that doesn't happen enough in our world. So in close partnership, because people are most vulnerable with each other in close partnership, they've opened themselves up, especially during the romantic attraction stage. They become completely open to each other. They know all about each other. They've been vulnerable. When they have conflict, they don't feel safe anymore. And so the process of mirroring allows for feeling the connection is being restarted between them, that they've understood each other.
Before we go there, let's let the world know how to reach you, what your phone number, what your email happens to be.
Okay, my phone number is area code 631-885-4375.
Let's do it again.
631-885-4375.
Okay, and then okay. So
And your email address?
It's helpconnectingus@gmail.com. It's all one way through, helpconnectingus@gmail.com. @gmail.com.
And I want to give some shout outs because there are people that are tentatively listening. Linda Fostek, Jennifer Wainwright, Joel Meltzer, Dennis McGuire, Vincent, so honey, you're listening, huh? My husband. Frank Usaman, I'm murdering your name. Usamanow.
Frank was, he's a great guitarist.
Angela
Great
Burton,
guitarist.
Katie Cox.
Gotcha, Frankie.
Says hi, Ty and Norm. Mary O'Hara, Sammy Lopez. Let's see who else, because I have other people on mine. Anne McGlikely. I'm saying your name wrong. I'm sorry.
Katie Cox. Hi, Katie.
Joe Carava, Claire Bunch, Mary Pat Quinn,
Claire.
Lisa Monaco, Kathy Casali, Kasha Mann, Christy Beck, Virginia Alesso,
Easy for you to say.
Delicio, Gabriela Rivera, Renee Was. Renee, you're listening.
Hey,
So,
honey. It's
both-
my honey.
This is a rare moment because both our spouses are actually listening.
Well,
No,
that's
no,
good.
no.
It's a
Both
good
our
start.
spouses are with each other having coffee, probably.
Well,
Yeah, laughing.
because later they're going to have to do the appreciation at home with both of you after we do
Oh,
it.
boy.
Oh, there you go, honey. You're gonna have to appreciate me.
Honey, I got your orange juice.
Well, y'all get appreciated. He's like, you're never home at night. No. So, all right. So, okay. So, is there a way to submit questions anonymously?
You shouldn't be on Facebook if that's your question.
We got
Well-
a message from a Christy Beck, who happens to say, just tuning in. Listening is such an incredible, important, and valuable key to a healthy relationship.
Hey, Norman, Christy Beck is out in California. She does Mommy Interrupted. She's in the parental alienation movement. So she's got a lot of followers from the West Coast.
cool.
And she's
Nice.
a good friend of the morning show,
Well,
too.
welcome, Christy.
Yes.
Welcome,
Welcome,
Christy.
Christy. We appreciate.
What a
you
difference
tuning
between
in.
this show and the early morning show. What do you think?
I don't know. We don't use foul language, Mr. Watchman.
No, sure.
Right. So, is there? Okay. So, Jennifer, I guess there is a way to submit questions anonymously. You can. Okay, so and I'll give this. If you guys want to send a question without your name being put in there, what you can do is you can text your question to me. My cell phone number is 631-839-6705. And if you text your question to me, I'm sure to get it, and I will ask it as soon as I see it. I'll ask it on air. That's 631-839-6705.
Also, if you want to call, we don't have to ask your name.
Yeah,
or
you
anything.
could
You can
just-
just call in and if your name is Susan, keep it to yourself. Just say, hi, I just want to ask a question.
Yeah, you don't
that's
have
all.
to tell us who you are. You could just say, I just have a
We'll
question.
just know from caller ID and then tell the world who you
No,
are.
Eric won't say anything because only Eric can see that, but he won't tell us. But
Yeah,
you can
Eric
just,
will save it for the early morning.
yeah, you could just tell us, you just have a question and this and that, and you could disguise your voice. There's so many apps for that right now, so you could just do
don't have time
anything
for
like
that.
that.
Just do it. Call in.
Hi, this is Linda.
You know her too?
There's a lot of Lindas out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. So okay, so
Oh, Chris is saying hello to you. Chris Vecchia.
Oh, say hi back.
Hi, Chris.
all right. So let's do this. Let's do this
Mirroring.
mirroring. So do we look
Appreciation
at each other?
The best thing for you to do, it's a little awkward at this
Do
table.
we leave our clothes on?
Yes, for now.
okay.
That's my
Just
other
check.
Please
training.
leave your clothes on.
No,
believe me,
that's
I
my
will.
Other training. My other training's in sex therapy, but we're not doing that tonight.
Oh. Look, he's signing up.
He's taking
Look at
a
him.
picture of her.
Put those pants back on. Really?
My gosh.
Okay. I thought you were okay.
Really?
Not with him.
That's disgusting.
In a real Imago session, the therapist sits as a facilitator where the two partners face each other, and then the therapist is, let's say, here, and you'd be here, and he'd be there. But,
Okay, here, this is what we do. Come close, come close, come close.
okay.
Do I have to?
You need to be what, in the middle?
You would be here, he would be there, but this is close enough.
Okay.
I can
Okay.
facilitate this way. It's not traditional, I'm sorry, Harville, but we're doing the best we can with this table.
Yes.
And so, what you do as partners is face each other as best you can. If you were close, intimate partners
Right,
in
we'll be
relationship
serious.
or married to each other, I might say even knee to knee if you were comfortable having knees touch. But you try to have partners have a physical connection because they're about to try to have an emotional connection. And the body and the mind and the heart are all connected. So what I would do is say that you're going to have an appreciation dialogue. One of you will be the sender first, and one of you will be the receiver first. Who would that?
Sorry.
Who's the one that usually brings up the most issues in your relationship? Because you do actually have a relationship.
Oh, he does. He's a chronic complainer.
Okay, so if he's the first one to speak,
They should only see the email messages and text messages you sent.
see
In
now,
response to what
now Norman
you
and Ty,
sent
if you were
me.
in my office, I'd
Unbelievable.
have to ask you to please refrain from the
Okay, we're
chatter.
gonna
Let me
do
give
that.
you the instructions.
Were we shouting?
No, the chatter, the chatter.
Get closer to your mic.
I'm close.
Okay. So whoever is usually the one to bring up the issues in the relationship, you usually ask the other person to be the one to start as the sender, because there's a history of them not being heard as much as the one that's always bringing up the issues.
I'll do whatever part, because I'm easy.
Okay.
So whatever part you want, I got.
So if Ty is the sender and Norman's the receiver, what you first do is issue an invitation to Norman that you would like to have a conversation about an appreciation, and you ask him if he's available. So you say, Norman, I'd like to show you an appreciation. Are you available?
Norman, I would like to show you an appreciation. Are you available?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. In real life, if you had a couple outside of the office and it wasn't a good time for the receiver to have a conversation, they would be able to have the right to say, now's not a good time, and they would have to give some type of an idea of when they could be available to their partner, so that the partner experiences that they will be heard, but they just won't be heard at that moment, but there is a time at which they know they will have that feeling of being listened to. So now is a good time because we're here at the studio, and this is what we're here for. So what I usually do after the invitation is accepted is do a centering exercise, which will really require you put your phone down, Ty.
No, someone was asking for the phone number, so I was giving it to them. Sorry. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so what you do is you put your hands on your laps, each of your laps, and I have my couples close their eyes for just a minute and take a few deep inhales and exhales. So let's say we'll take 3 deep inhales and exhales. And during the centering time, I coach the couples to please just realize that they are together today to restore connection in their relationship. And the reason that they're here is because they value their connection, and that they're here to heal the space between them. In Imago, we talk about the space between as what you've created together as a partnership or a couple. You've created an entity between you that is the relationship. And what you're trying to work on when you found a rift in your relationship is repairing that disconnect that you've had in the space between you. So that's what we do, is some type of a centering exercise to get everybody's body relaxed, to ask people to put their concerns outside of the office, to know that they're here just for the time that they're here together for the purpose of connection, and that they're usually here with their best friend. Although they've had some disconnection, they want to repair that. So you can open your eyes, and what couples should do at this point is to glance at each other, keep eye contact throughout the dialogue, not glaring, because glaring is a staring and it's not very pleasant, but glancing or gazing is something very pleasant and relaxing and shows that you're paying attention to your partner. So Ty, what you would do now is say, Norm, what I appreciate about you is, and then you fill in the blank.
This is going to be good.
Norm, what I appreciate about you is how you're one of my biggest fans.
Okay, so now, Norm, I would ask you if you could mirror that, which means you say exactly back to Ty what she said to you.
No, what I appreciate.
No.
about you.
What else? I'll just say how to do it. I'm sorry, I didn't give you a sentence stem. I hear you say that you appreciate about me that,
I hear you say that what you appreciate about me is that I am one of your biggest fans.
and then you say to Ty, did I get that?
That I get that correct.
Yes,
don't-
you did.
Okay, well, we try to not use judgmental words in our dialogue. So the correct part, you just say, did I get that?
Did I
A-
get that?
And then Ty.
Yes, you did.
And then you ask her, is there more?
Is there much more?
Yes, there is. Norman, I appreciate that you always think of me when you're out and about.
I hear you say,
I hear you say that you appreciate that I always think about you when I'm out and about.
did I get that?
Did I get that?
Yes, you did.
And the reason that's important to me is, you'd be saying
And
that to
me?
him. Mhm.
Oh, and the reason why that is important to me is that it makes me feel good to know that you appreciate that, I guess you value the work that I do for you.
I hear you say,
I hear you say that you appreciate that because of the value of the work that you do for me.
Yes.
did I get that? Did I get that?
Did I get that?
Yes, you did.
And when you appreciate me that way, or when you are in touch with me that way, it reminds me of when I was younger, and
When you appreciate me that way, it reminds me of when I was younger and I did really well in school and I had a teacher that would tell me that.
I hear you say,
I hear you say that when you were younger, you appreciate the teacher that said that you did things correctly.
did I get that?
Did I get that?
For the most part.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so that's a sample of mirroring and also a little bit of deepening. And the reason I did that about the earlier memory is that that has to do with the imago that we carry in our minds, which in your case here had to do with a very nice teacher that made you feel good. Most of the time, our imagos of what love or goodwill looked like have to do with people that were very important to us, and it can be teachers, it can be parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, older siblings. Somebody who was good to us did something nice for us and made a big impression. So that made a big impression on Ty, this teacher having good regard for her and making her feel good. So what we would do if we continued with it would be that you would have another process called summarizing, validating, and empathizing. There's steps that would take a little bit longer than the time we have today, but then you'd switch after that, and you'd be the sender at what you appreciate about Ty.
But
If you-
before we do that, we'll go on. We need to go to a commercial.
Sure.
Otherwise, they'll hang us.
Okay,
Okay. Commercial
it's a
time.
good time for a commercial.
Good time for a commercial break and stay tuned for more mirror and more relationship guidance.
And Norman making
With Norman and Ty.
Okay.
Ty a queen.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to take a short commercial break. We'll be right back with Ty and the Music Man shortly. I want to tell you about Norman Wasserman and Friend Entertainment USA Woodstock Revisited. It is a tribute concert featuring Jimi Hendrix and the Band of Gypsies, starring Kiss the Sky, Crosby, Stills, Nash, starring CSN Songs, Creedence Clearwater Revival, starring Willie and the Poor Boys, and Santana, starring Taboo. January 27, 2018 at 7:30 p.m. at the Brookside School, 1260 Meadowbrook Road, North Merrick, New York. For tickets, 631-698-9696. One more time, 631-698-9696. In today's world, being virtual is vital to any business, no matter how big or small. So how does a small or a mid-sized business compete with the bigger companies? Well, the answer is simple. You hire a company that's affordable and recognized for doing what's right and just for all its clients, no matter what the size. At Network Marketing Specialist Media Agency, NMS, they pride themselves in putting together a package that suits the needs of each client. They analyze what's working and what's not working. They keep you in the loop and provide you with the ability to expand your virtual reach, increasing your brand recognition in front of the demographic that's right for your company. Your time is precious and it's valuable. Whether you want to be more recognized on social media or physically, you still have a business to run. So let NMS be the virtual you. Give Ty Vicari a call at 631-839-6705. That's 631-839-6705. Once again, that's 631-839-6705. Check him out on the web at Ty, that's T-A-I, Vicari, VICARINMS.com. Let NMS be the virtual you. For over 28 years, Norman Wasserman and Friend Entertainment USA have been producing and directing successful concerts for not-for-profit organizations all across the USA. Not only are these tribute concerts successful, but they bring to light the significant work that each individual charity performs. No matter how large or small, no matter what city or state, Friend Entertainment can create an exciting, profitable fundraising concert for you. Give Norman Wasserman a call, toll-free at 844-698-9696. That's 844-698-9696. Friend Entertainment USA. Reach out, and we'll be there. And now back to Ty and the Music Man, and here they are. Here's Ty and the Music Man.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back. We're with Aviva, and she is a relationship therapist. Imago relationship therapist. And if you're just tuning in now, what we had done was we did a mirror image session between Norman and I, where I was telling him why I appreciated him, and he was responding back with the the same
The mirror.
the mirror of what I was saying. And I was able to reveal to him who in my past was the person that reflected the same kind of feeling. And that was a very good session right
That was
there.
cool.
So that was really cool. So now we have someone had said online that they started out their relationship with their wife 22 years ago as a joke. And now, they must be doing something right. So good for you, 22 years married,
So
in
they
this
had
day
no
and
relationship
age.
before? The way that's written, it sounds like, we know that's not the case. But the way it was written, it seems like what he's trying to say is that they've been married for 22 years. It wasn't a joke when they got married. No? Yes?
No, they started their relationship as a joke.
Okay.
And then
That's probably why it's still very good.
Yeah, so I mean,
They're still laughing.
I don't know.
They started off
They don't
lighthearted.
take each other serious.
So I mean, I don't know. So was it a laugh in the bed? I mean, I don't know where the laugh was, but no, I'm kidding. So then Linda's saying, really listening to each other and confirming that you actually heard what was said is a key communication skill that supports relationships at all levels, personal and business. This is true. This is very true. If anyone has any questions or has any comments.
Well, I wanted to
please
ask you,
call in.
Ty, through
Yes.
the mirroring process, because you were being mirrored until he had it exactly as you sent it, did you feel the sensation of, oh, he finally got me? Because that's usually what the mirroring will help you feel, is that he heard me. And that doesn't happen as much as it should in most relationships.
I felt that, well, he was listening very, intently. I mean, he heard exactly what I said, which was really good. And he was able to, communicate that with me, which I was impressed that he was paying that much attention. So
She, in my business life, is important to me. She helps me through certain things, which is her profession to do. Because she handles my internet marketing, and she comes up with some really great ideas. And even though sometimes she doesn't listen to some of the ideas that I have, because she has to do it her way, she does incorporate them. She will incorporate them. She might not give up at that moment the fact that, okay, it really does seem like a pretty good idea, but I'm not
I give
gonna
a
go
dog
and
a
say it.
bone.
But later on, it'll come up, and she's great at what she does.
Well, the
which is
part where,
and I wanted to know that I know that she's that good, because I refer business to her.
So
I
that was a
always give
healing
her leads.
dialogue, even without realizing it, but also the part where Ty mentioned that you were listening so intently. You were showing that it was active listening. You were paying attention on purpose and trying to make sure that you heard what she said and mirrored it back to her, which
Yeah,
is,
we got thousands of people listening in. I had to do it that way, right?
well, no, but that's part of the exercise, is that it's for that reason,
Right.
to pay attention that is active.
Exactly.
See how he is? He gives a compliment and then he takes it away.
There I am.
What kind of that's a personality,
Well,
right?
we would just work more on the intentions before we'd have a conversation,
I'm
which
trying to make the radio show, you know?
the intentions in a dialogue are that you're promising no negativity, no sarcasm, eye contact to continue, show an interest in
I
your
am
face.
sarcastic.
No, I understand.
That I am.
But I'm just giving an
My wife
example.
will be more than happy if she's still listening to call in and say, he is sarcastic.
So if anyone does want to call in, and if they have any relationship questions, please call 888-583-9930, extension 100. I know we have a lot of people listening on Facebook today, and as we do other days, but also, if you want a private question because you don't want to put your name on Facebook with the question, you can text me at 631-839-6705. And
Jennifer Wainwright's asking, I guess, for your cell number again.
you didn't have to say your name.
Well, what's the difference? What's it?
Don't worry, Jennifer. Nobody will know who you are.
She's asking for the cell number. So are a lot of other people.
Jennifer is a very common name.
Ty started it. I just added to it.
It's like gang up time. By the way,
So-
I met Aviva at a networking meeting.
Did you?
And that's how we got to be business friends and so on. And I thought you would be so perfect for doing something like this. And your presentation, even though it wasn't all that long at this meeting, was great. And that's why I thought.
At the networking meeting? Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's why I
Yes,
thought
I'd like to
that's
plug that that's Simply Referrals with Steve Bellafiore, and it's a wonderful group.
it's wonderful. Steve's going to be on the show in
Good,
February.
Steve. I hope you're watching.
I hope he's listening
I
in.
hope
Yes.
so, and everybody vote for him for Best of Long Island.
He's terrific. He's really
Sorry.
He's really
Okay,
good guy.
he's competing with me.
He's got a great networking group. He does.
So, yes, he does. I actually went to a couple, so he
Come
does have a
tomorrow
good-
night.
So,
Really good show.
well, I'll try and come tomorrow night. So, first off, for people that want to sit down, if you're a couple, or do you do individual
I do
therapy?
individual sessions,
Okay.
and I cater them toward relationship issues. So I will sometimes mirror, validate, and empathize with an individual in role-playing as their partner, as them, and we reverse it, and try to just help them understand their role in relationship, because all of my work is about relationship.
And Aviva has offices that are in Smithtown and also in New York City. So if you are in any of those areas, and I'm pretty sure she can do like a Skype session if need be. So,
And for some homebound people, I've done home visits because a lot of my background is in home care.
We have a
so
call.
we have a call. So
Okay.
caller, you're on the air.
We have Linda Fostek on, Ty.
Oh,
Hi, Lynn.
Linda, you're
Hi,
on
Linda.
the air. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Linda.
How are you?
Hi, Ty. Hi, Aviva. Hi,
Norm.
Ben.
Norman.
So, yes, and congratulations on your new release of your book. Do you know Linda Foster?
Yes, from networking as well.
Yes, and she has a huge, networking group called the Women's Prosperity Network.
I've been to that.
Yeah, and so congratulations on that too, because you could pack a house, and so just what's up?
Well, what's up is, this is having Aviva on and talking about relationships, really taking those relationships to another level, really ties into my book is about. New book just launched today called Love, Hate, Networking. And you can actually download a copy for 99 cents, networking.net. It's really about building relationships through networking for your business. And a lot of the things that Aviva was talking about tonight, I think, tie in very well with building relationships in business as well as your personal relationships.
Did she have a question about
Yes.
imago therapy?
Do you have a question about imago therapy that you can ask Aviva?
Well, I loved the mirroring exercise that you just did. I think that is so important because listening is an important skill. So the question I have is, okay, now you've mirrored, the next step is what?
The next step in Imago dialogue is summarizing what's been mirrored to show that you've been listening all along. And after that would be validation, because you're trying to show your partner that you've understood from their perspective how they feel and what they experience. It doesn't mean that you agree with them. It means that you understand and that you've respected them enough as a separate being to say, I understand your experience is different, and you validate that. It makes sense because, and it makes sense because of whatever reason they gave in their sending to you. And then empathizing is the other step after that, which is where you express that you understood the emotions that were coming through the person sending you their part of the dialogue. That
Well-
you understood they were having pain or sadness or happiness.
Well, thank you, Linda, for calling in with that question. That was a great question. And, congratulations on your new release of your book and also, Love, Hate, Networking. So thank you so much.
And if you do call again, don't forget, my name is Norman, Norman.
Oh, my God.
I said Norman.
There you go. Thank you, dear.
Have a good night, Linda.
Bye, Lynn.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so so that's a good. So there are steps. You're not in anything that you do. There's not a quick fix.
Right.
So if you're going to go to therapy, you're not going to go for one session and it's going to be a cure-all. You have to keep going because sometimes you take one step forward and then two steps back. So
Yeah,
you need
Imago
to be
encourages
consistent.
is a process. It's a process that's ongoing. It's ideal if you keep going at it because you learn a new way to think and to be in relationship, not just in your partnership, but in every relationship you have, whether it's the shortest relationship in a store to a clerk, or whether it's a deeper relationship that you're in a relationship of a marriage or a life partnership, adult children and parents, siblings, everybody can have a better relationship. There's also a model of this called Safe Conversations that can be taken into businesses and schools and police departments. I'm also a trained facilitator in Safe Conversations.
Question. Now, people come to you. They do mirror imaging. They do other things that you suggest. Is there a thing as a success rate? Do people realize sometimes, and I guess that they do, that they're not right together?
Well, generally, the type of people that will commit to imago therapy are hoping that they'll be able to restore and
Oh,
heal.
that I understand.
Right, so they don't drop it right away. People that might just come, see it, and not find it something they'd like to do at all, sometimes they're not even invested in having connection. They're just going to try one more therapist, one more therapy
Well,
model.
it can't be done at one time. You know, you got
No,
to
but there are
give-
people, if they're committed to it, they will keep coming.
Yes.
And if
Have
they're-
you ever had, I'm sorry, but have you ever had that couple where after maybe 2 or 3 or 4 sessions, you were like, in your mind, I know you can't technically tell them you guys are not good for each other, but have you ever had that encounter where you've met 2 people that were just, they shouldn't have been together, why they got together, we have no idea, but here they are now, and it's just a terrible relationship? Have you ever
Well,
had
things
that?
like that are never up to anyone but them, even though you can help them with what they need help with. A lot of that discovery has to come between them. It can't be told to them that you're horrible for each other, you shouldn't be together. I mean, I've had a couple be so escalated that they actually ran out after each other. The husband drove away, the wife had to chase the cart, and that was, that's the unusual situation. But there are people that will come, and because it's a commitment, it's a learning experience, it's a relational learning experience. And usually if they start to get it, that they're having a deepening in their life about things through the process of learning it in the office, their life will improve outside of the office, not just between them, but in every other relationship as well in
How
their
long
life.
is the session?
So there is a question that
Okay.
came on. It says, I just started a new relationship. My first after leaving an abusive relationship 3 years ago. I've spoken a little to him about my history, and he has said, we'll go as slowly as I need, and had even offered to attend counseling with me if I'm afraid to go alone. Truth be told, I'm terrified that I'm just going to end up hurting him and pushing him for something he had no part of. What advice can you offer for me or for us?
This is a female asking about.
I don't know. It's in
Okay.
a,
Well, I think that if she doesn't first have something for herself, that might be the first place to start. It sounds like she's grappling with a lot of things herself. And then when she feels ready to deal with it in partnership, sometimes you have so many issues that are your own personal issues that are not relational about the new person. You don't want to bring that into the new relationship. And if you can deal with that on a private level with a therapist first as well, or simultaneously in couples therapy. But in couples therapy, for imago therapy, we treat the couple as the patient. The relationship is the patient, no individual. There are 2 individuals that are there, but the relationship itself is what we're treating and helping to heal. So how people come to that are separate people, and some of them have therapists that are for individual work, some of them don't. So I
Do
don't
you
know.
do individual work, or you just do couple type of work?
I do
whether it's
individual
business-
work.
Okay.
I do that as well.
So
Usually,
she
in
needs to she seems like you just said, needs to take care of herself first, and then worry about the relationship second.
to feel ready to work on the
Right.
relationship together with her partner.
Especially, we don't know what type of abusive relationship it happened to have been.
Right.
So, you know, whether
it
it
could
was
be,
physical.
well, when it's physical, it's
It could be
technically
verbal.
both, you know.
Definitely, she should get the help she needs if it was abuse, and if it's, I don't think it's ongoing, it was a past relationship that was abusive, but dealing with services that help with that special type of
So
circumstance.
we wish her good luck in whatever it is.
If
that
she's
Yes.
in, if she hasn't gotten help, I know that in Suffolk County, she can go to Vibes and have counseling.
Vibes, VIBES.
VIBS.
Oh, VIBS, I'm
Victims
sorry.
Information Bureau Services, I believe.
Okay, and you know what? If you're listening out there, you know, reach out to Aviva. She is a great person that can also help you as well. Is that accurate?
Well,
And
thank you.
If you want, if you wanted
how can
to,
she reach you?
yeah, if they wanted to contact you for
Again?
therapy, what number would they call?
631-885-4375.
And do you have a website?
I do. It's avivachanskygutman.com.
How do you spell that? That might be a little much.
AVIVAChanskygutmann, 2 T's and 2 N's, .com.
So, and you know what? It's important to have everybody should have someone to talk to regardless, no matter whether you're in a relationship or not. Sometimes the best relationship to have is with yourself, and it's important to love yourself, because this is what I was taught when I was very young. If you can't love yourself, you're not going to be able to love anyone else. So, that's something, at least that's what I was taught as,
Actually, I
a
just
young
want to
child.
mention that really correlates to this book, Receiving Love, because some people have trouble. This is by Harville Hendricks as well, and his wife Helen LaKelly Hunt. This book talks about how in love relationships, some of us can't accept love. We can't let it in.
I'm one of those people.
Okay?
I,
When you
I-
can't
or
let it in.
was one of those people.
And so you have to, through learning in imago therapy, you can learn that you can be more open to receiving, because sometimes people just say, you can't mean that about me, you can't feel that about me. I'm not good enough to have that coming toward me. That's sometimes the message we've given ourselves if we can't receive love well. So there's ways to discuss that in imago as well. There's certain dialogue formulas for different problems between people. There's behavior change request dialogues where you ask your partner something that's frustrating to you, you give them suggestions for how they might help you be less frustrated, and because they're invested in helping the relationship heal, they agree to one of those recommendations, and vice versa. People do it. It's all very egalitarian. It's all very balanced, and you do have commitments to each other in the dialogue process of maintaining openness, curiosity, so that you're not feeling like you're ready for combat. Because what we're trying to do in imago is make it safe, and it's safe by knowing you will not be attacked or ridiculed or have sarcasm come at you during a dialogue, because your partner has committed to not doing that. And that's where the healing takes place, is that you realize you can say anything to your partner and they will receive it in a receptive way and in a kind way. You've given them commitments that they've taken on as their contract with themselves and their partner.
Therapy is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing if you do it correctly. And I had some issues as a child, with parents and things like that. And my mom died very early. I was 10 years old. So you have issues. There's nothing you can do but to have them, and you have to work them out. And sometimes you don't work them out till later on in life. And then when I attended, it was wonderful. It was really, I was like weights lifted off your head that you really weren't a bad person, and you weren't this, and you weren't that. Other people might have had issues, as well. And that's it. You can't always put the blame. Therapy's great.
Well,
That's
the
it.
thing about imago, about your caregivers, is usually caregivers do not intend to be malicious, mean, cruel, neglectful. They didn't intend it. They did the best they could do with what they had and the experiences they had before them and before them. And so in imago, you're raising consciousness in the current relationship. It's called a mindful, intentional relationship that people will have with each other, because they're very aware. I don't want to hurt my partner, and I don't wish to be hurt. And that's basically the premise behind all of the ways that we do dialogue in this type of therapy.
So how would somebody, okay, so let's say someone wants to go for therapy. Now, do you accept insurance, or how does it work to get therapy from you?
I don't personally accept insurance. I'm
Okay.
a provider that doesn't accept insurance. They would have to contact me, and often with a couple for the first session, I do 2 hours to get a lot of background
Wow,
information.
that's a
Most
long
sessions are
time.
90 minutes for a couple.
Is that what you have normally? It's a 90-minute session?
90-minute sessions for couples, because you're doing a lot of educational pieces too, as well as the therapeutic piece. You want both of them to feel they've had a turn to talk, especially the dialogue. On average, a dialogue, when it's going well, is about at least a half hour to 45 minutes for everybody to get their turn and to process what they're saying. But I like to do a little pre-interview before the dialogue with education, finding out what the issues are between them for the last few weeks between when they were last there, and then the dialogue, and then going over the dialogue. And
When you do that consultation, have you ever told anybody, I really don't think I'd be able to help the two of you in your situation? Have you ever turned anybody away?
Not at this time. The problem is that, not the problem, the situation is that they usually won't come in the first place if they're that escalated and that conflictual.
No, but
Sometimes
you
they won't
have to
come-
make that decision. Are you comfortable that no matter what your situation is, I can not just try to help you, but I can help you?
I tell them what I'm able to do, what I'm willing to do, the model
Okay.
of what I do, and then they have to make decisions as adults that are asking for a service that they want to continue or they don't want to continue. We have to all understand the limits and boundaries and structure of it, because it's not like a traditional couples work where there might be two people on a couch yelling at each other, looking at the therapist saying, he's wrong, she's wrong, he's wrong, she's wrong. It's not like that. Some people actually want that. And they've also come to say that that's what they've had in the past. So that's not how I work.
Well, I'm so fascinated with this. I think that it's a great thing that that you do, and 2 hours is a long time.
It
That's
goes
not
very
normal.
fast. It really goes
Yeah.
fast. I mean, because they usually want to say so much when they get there because they have not done anything
Yes.
yet. And they've been upset for a long time. And they want to make sure I understand what both of them are feeling and why they came and how they came to the decision to be there. Then I have to do the education piece about the type of work I do. And then I usually try to get, in the first session, an appreciation dialogue going so they'll understand what that's about and to feel that elevation of mood that, oh, we're not attacking each other, we're appreciating each other.
Do you have any appearances that you're going to be doing or any lectures or talks that are coming up?
I speak at libraries, community centers. I have one in April coming up at the Open Center in Manhattan. And I don't have another one before that at this time, but I usually schedule one about once a month.
All right. So, you know what? We would love to know when your next one, if it's other side from April, because you said you do libraries and such, let us know about that so that we
Okay.
can get that
Yeah,
out
we'll
there to
post
the
it
world,
for you.
because
We'll
I'm
let
pretty
everybody
sure
know that you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're terrific.
I also wanted to just ask, since so many people are listening, I need to have a forum where I'd like to do a Safe Conversations segment, which is really an Imago type of dialogue process for businesses and community centers, places where several people are together, where you help them learn how to communicate in a safe way, which is the basis for Imago dialogues. So if there's anybody out there that has a business that wants a lunch and learn of a Safe Conversations session, it's similar to what we did today, but it's geared toward whatever environment you're in, whatever population is there, and I'd be glad to do that and talk to anybody who calls in or writes in about that.
And I think that in this day and age, and especially with what's going on right now, I think that is so vital and so important because, unfortunately, everybody is on edge with how to speak to each other, especially the males
Absolutely.
are so
It's
on
crazy
edge
now.
on how to speak
afraid
to a
to do
woman.
anything.
Yeah, they're afraid to be in a room with a woman. They're afraid to even go near a woman. And that is really pushing us so far back now because, I can't speak for all women, but I could speak for myself. My mission in life was equality, not segregation in a reverse way. So that's how I see it. I wanted to be equal to a man. I didn't want to be above them. I wanted to be side by side.
You
with
wanted
them.
a fair shot and be judged for
I
what
just
you
I
want.
just wanted to be equal, and I'm not fighting for to upstage a man. I'm fighting just to be equal, and that's it. So, and in order to do that, communication is key. But I don't want a man to be afraid to talk to me or be afraid to communicate with me because of what's going on. I just want hey, let's just talk, like we always did. I didn't have a problem with it. So, and I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of women out there that are now getting the man is just totally like nervous to be around them. So having a forum with you where we can learn how to communicate with each other
And have a safe
and have a
conversation.
safe
We
conversation.
could maybe do that on the radio.
That is a great thing.
Maybe
I mean,
one day somehow we can figure that out and actually have a bunch of people
That
in
would be
here.
fine, as your cameras can see that many people at once. And
Okay, we can maybe move the table and set up some chairs or do things like that.
or we
and
can
maybe
work it out where we can have it in an
another
area.
room.
Yeah,
We
in
can
an
have it in
area.
another room
I'm
too.
pretty sure Eric would accommodate it, even if we did it, pre-taped or what have you.
I'm sure
pretty
Eric would love to leave the studio and be out in the cold
Yes,
getting
he
someplace.
loves to leave that
do that.
that box. So
This has been like the most serious show we've had in almost the year that we've been doing it. This is a really refreshing change to the normal nonsense that we do every Wednesday evening. This was great.
well, it's really grappling with what's very important to everybody. You live in relationship. You wake up in the morning, somewhere along the line, even if you're alone, living alone, you deal with someone in relationship, a phone call, a business, even through the internet, through your work, if you work remotely, stores, doctor's offices. You're always dealing with relationships. So that's why it's a wonderful thing. Once you learn this art form, mirroring, validation, and empathy, you don't technically have to do it in those steps with people in public, but you start to live that way, like, I'm going to make sure I heard them.
there's a question in the chat room for you, Aviva. It says, has Aviva ever had an experience of helping a parent and child restore a relationship through using Amigo therapy? It seems to me that it could be a great tool and resource.
Yeah.
Any partnership, whether it be romantic, parent-child, siblings, any kind, can be improved with Imago therapy dialogue steps.
Then I think it's a good time to give your phone number again,
Okay?
after we just read that question.
631-885-4375.
And thank you to Christy Beck for putting in the chat room Aviva's website. That was really nice of you. I appreciate when you
Thank you,
guys help
Christy.
out. Wonderful. Love the information she's sharing. Where is it? There's a lot going on in the chat rooms right now. Tammy, hello. So we have a few people actually from California listening in. Tammy, Sean, Christy, and then I want to shout out to Kevin O'Hara. Jennifer, who's in Virginia, Leah Keating's watching. It is a great, you know what, I think I'm going to do that for you. I think in 2018, because we're almost done. But I think I'm going to get together with someone and see if we could sponsor a
Safe conversation.
safe conversation.
We could do
event.
like
That
a
would be good
remote
thing.
type of thing.
Yeah.
People would love that. It only improves things, no matter what. You don't have to agree with people. You just have to learn how to listen and communicate.
It's the same thing like Ty and I are both in sales.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't be a good salesperson unless you listen to what your customer needs and wants.
Mm-hmm.
You have to listen to what it is. And then you got to decide whether you can really help these people or you can't help the people.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
So I just want to say, Christy Beck says, thank you, Aviva. I'd be interested to connect more with you. So, that's a great thing that,
Yes.
you
Thank
you can expect a phone call.
So
Thank you very much.
reach out to her. She had said her phone number several times. Is your phone number on your website also?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so if you didn't catch Aviva's phone number, you can go to her website, and it is there. She
Should I
says, "You're
say it
welcome.
again?
Thank you for this show." And then Jennifer Johnson, hey Ty, I love hearing y'all. I know you love hearing me. And Mr. Norman, as I stumble upon my words. I really appreciate all the fans that are listening out there each week, and we're like 3 minutes before the end of the show. And I want to thank you, Aviva, for coming on the show. An hour is a blink of an eye. I can imagine the
Yes.
2-hour sessions that you have.
That's what I'm saying. It goes very fast.
Very.
Because
Very,
you get
very
invested in what
fast.
you're doing, and it means so much to you usually, personally and relationally. You end up the time does fly. And at the very end, most couples say, it felt so relaxing at the end after they've done the dialogue, because it's like a meditation.
Tomorrow evening, I'm giving you a nice testimonial at the
At Simply
meeting
Referrals.
that we're going to be at.
Yes.
You know,
Come to
tomorrow
the
evening.
Smithtown branch at Hapog Panera.
Panera.
Hapog Panera tomorrow at 7 p.m. for Simply Referrals. Thank
It's
you. It was so
really
nice to
great.
meet you
Oh, it's
there.
good. It was
There you
Thank
go.
you, Ty.
That's how you
Thank
meet
you,
people. That's how we
Aviva.
grow.
And-
You have something you want to tell
Yes,
everybody?
I do. So this Friday is Ty's Club, and that's from 12 to 2 in the afternoon. It's at Mario's in East Setauket. I ask you guys to come on down. It's $25 to play. And this week we are collecting new unwrapped toys for ages 5 to 18 for the Kids Clubhouse of Suffolk. So if you come to the lunch, please bring a toy, and you can also participate. We're having a grab bag, for the members, and it's
Is this the last meeting for the year?
it's the last meeting for the year, and and then of course we start up again in January, because I truly believe in taking care of your family during the holiday season, and spending time with your loved ones, because we all work so damn hard, because we want to spend our free time with our family. So spending your free time is very important. You work hard for it. You might as well do what you have to do to solidify those relationships and keep them strong.
And Ty, is there a way they can, if they want to know about the books, find out on your website?
So what I will do is I will take a picture of the books and I'll post them on the Ty and the Music Man Facebook page. And it's also... Our show is archived on the website. So if you go to Ty and the Music Man through WLINY.com /Ty and the Music Man, you'll go into our show segment, and all the shows are there. And this show will be on there probably within the next 24 to 48 hours. It gets uploaded, and then you can see the books. You can listen to Aviva. Maybe you might want to tell a friend, hey, you got to listen to this show. There was this great therapist on there, and get
A lot of
all
people
her
have been
information.
asking me about archive shows. And I tell
Yeah,
them, yeah,
all
you
the
can,
shows are
you can
on there.
listen to
Do they
all our
expire, or they
shows.
keep them on?
No, they're
they're on.
on forever. And if you can't get our show on the WLINY.com internet website, then you can go to YouTube, because WLINY has a YouTube channel, and all the shows. I mean, yeah, you're going to have to funnel through, but all their shows are on there. The team here, they do a really good job, the production team, of making sure that, it's on Periscope, it's on Stream, it's on all of these
The
different
production
channels.
team called Eric
And Jace.
and
And
Jace.
Jace, yeah.
Yes,
Eric and
Jace
Jace.
is
And now Lisa.
and Lisa too, and
It's just growing and growing.
Yeah.
I just want to mention also
and
that
Michael. So yeah, so there's a lot of different people that are doing it behind the scenes.
Friend Entertainment's last show of 2017 is this Saturday. And I'm sure all of you want to run down to Pennsylvania, to Glenside, Pennsylvania, and see the Temptations, the Four Tops, and the Supremes. Then we come back, and as Eric told you earlier, our first show is in January. It's a Woodstock Rock and Roll Explosion Night. Great, great show. And then our 30th anniversary show takes place on Sunday afternoon, February 11th. And all that is on friendentusa.com, or you can reach us at 631-698-9696.
All right, and then one last thing is, I will be making an appearance at the Barnes & Noble bookstore in Bayshore this Sunday, December 17th, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, obviously, if you're on this part of the country. And I ask you guys to come on down. I am doing a session. I'll be talking about books in the radio, and it'll be a live stream that's going on there. So come on down to Barnes & Noble in Bayshore this Sunday. There's going to be tons of authors there throughout the day. My segment is at 4, but from 10 to 10, it's going to be a great, great day at Barnes & Noble in Bayshore. So see you all
One thing,
there.
again, also before we hang, I said it last week, I'll say it again, I'm going to do it to the end of the year. We want to thank you, everybody that listens into us every week. You've taken us to the top on WLINY. We are booked now through the,
March.
I think, up to March.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got, no, we have one date left in February. Unless you have it booked, which I don't know about.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
But
I gotta look.
it's been great, and we want to, it's only because of you guys that are listening and watching, and we greatly, greatly appreciate that, and we thank you.
Yes, thank you guys out
Thank
there.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Aviva.
coming.
God
Good
bless
night,
you.
everybody. Have a great
Have a
week.
good night. Happy Hanukkah. Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
See you soon.